Paulo Dybala has signed for AS Roma on a 3-year contract. I couldn't believe it until I saw official this morning. It's an unbelievable deal. One that gives so much hope, I think, to Romanisti in Rome, around the world, people who've waited so long for this type of player, dynamic, a game changer, somebody who can fill that gap, that artistic, game-changing, can make decisions just and pull rabbits out of the hat. That type of player that has been so sorely missed, and not one who shows potential, not one who used to do it and is now 34 years old, but one who is in the prime of his career. And that's what makes this deal so unique. And I've come across comments and ex-players and directors talking about how this deal reminds them of Batistuta. It's a bit different. Even Batistuta was a little bit older at his point. He had like one good season left in him, or maybe even two. It was really just one. But this one is a star player who comes to Roma for the next 3 years. There is this rumor about a buyback. An option, a release clause. I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen anything official on that word. Just journalists mentioning it, throwing it around. So nothing official on that just yet. But this just makes me look forward to watching these games so much. You figure 36 or 38, I think it was 36,000 season tickets were sold this season before Dybala signed. Before. It's remarkable. So now that he's coming in, it's just going to be so exciting. What's up, Sharma? Sharma, thank you. Sharma is the guy who got me into really thinking about YouTube, and I'm really glad that he did and that we met. And honestly, it's a day that makes me think that it's not an outside chance that Roma could get back into the Champions League places. That it's no more this, well, maybe 6th, 5th, and if everything goes right and it's a perfect world, they get into 4th. No, I would say now that the standard is 4th. That's like the least of the objectives. Thank you, Francisco, my man. It was very nice meeting you for the Conference League final in May. It's very cool. Yeah, and of course I'm wearing Palermo. If people didn't follow Dybala for that much of his career, where I fell in love with his play was when he was a teenager in Palermo, and he was just such an interesting, exciting, fun player to watch. And I remember just the Barbera in Palermo, that stadium would erupt when this kid would put defenders on their heels. I don't really know of a dribbler like Dybala. He's really unique in that regard. Just total Argentinian style about him. There's got to be a word for it, because, Brazilian samba. But with Argentina, there has to be a way to describe how Argentinians just dribble. He has such a low center of gravity. I think he's about 5'8", probably about like 1.72 centimeters. So he's someone who definitely wants to take on defenders and find that space for himself. And I think that's going to be, yes, tango. There we go. Tango. He's got that tango about him. Before I forget, I just saw this morning, I posted on Twitter, that there is the La Joya ice gelato in Rome today. It's half mango and half cherry. So that sounds pretty delicious. Sounds like something that might make you get going. Also on my Instagram, I posted yesterday, do people like gelato more or ice cream? I still wonder about that one, but I think actually, disregarding my roots, I think I'm more of an ice cream guy. But I don't want to get off track. So back at Palermo, he was so exciting. And when he went to, let's go back a second. When Roma was getting ready to buy a right winger, there was a gap. There were 3 players. It was Dybala, who was Walter Sabatini would have definitely got if he could and if the funds were available. And then there was Juan Manuel Iturbe, and then Juan Cuadrado, actually, were the names being thrown around. And now, just going back through these paces, I do remember that Dybala exploded the year after. And then he became the hottest prize in Italian football. So Dybala explodes, and I just was feeling so bad because I knew they invested in Itobe. They weren't going to get another right winger or 10 over on the side, and I was just so disappointed. And then he went to Juventus, and I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. So to know that ultimately all roads lead back to Rome for Dybala is immense. I'm so excited. I don't get player number jerseys, but I think that I might, if they make like a black kit, I might go for a Dybala. I think it's got to be just because I love this kid throughout his career. This is a big step forward for our club. Dybala will bring a lot to our team in terms of mentality and talent, says Hamad. Hamad, it's a great call. Mentality for sure. He's won Scudetti. He knows what it takes. He's got a little bit of a reserved sense about him. But just because you're not yelling and screaming in the locker room, maybe like a Chiellini or even Bonucci would, doesn't mean that you're not a leader. You demonstrate your leadership by what you do on the pitch. It's not just, let's, get up, stop being weak or get back in there. I've had coaches tell me that, and that's not really the way. If a coach does it once in a blue moon, that's one thing, because then you get a little fear inside. You're like, oh, coach is being serious. But to just go out there and prove on the pitch every game is how you're a leader, is how you get back up. And talking about the mask, I read that Dybala does that because when he missed a penalty against, I guess, Inter in Doha for the Supercopa, that really hurt him. And he decided that he needed to get back up on his feet like a gladiator. And then he started to do the gladiator mask. So very cool thing about him. So a couple things I wanted to mention. I want to go through Roma's their thing here, their official press release. So he signs a 3-year contract, runs until June 30th, 2025. Dybala says, the days that have led up to me signing this contract have been with so many emotions. The speed and determination, which Roma demonstrated just how much they wanted me, made all the difference. I'm joining a team that is on the up, a club that continues to put in place strong foundations for the future, and a coach, Jose Mourinho, that it will be a privilege to work with. As an opponent, I have always admired the atmosphere created by Roma fans. I cannot wait for the chance to salute them while wearing the shirt. This iPad's going in pretty handy. A 5-time Serie A champion, Dybala began his career in native Argentina with Instituto before going on to Palermo and, of course, Juve. Alongside his league titles, he's also won the Coppa Italia 4 times and the Super Cup a further 3 times. In 2020, he was named Serie A's most valuable player and has been selected in the league's teams of the season on 4 separate occasions. He's made 34 appearances for Argentina, which doesn't seem like enough, to be honest with you. Pinto says, Paulo's decision to join our project is a testament to the club's credibility and a sign of the hard work that all together we are putting in to take Roma forward. Paulo is a world-renowned player who has won major trophies and gained global acclaim. He will bring that class with him to Roma, and I am sure that, with him in the squad, we will be even stronger and more competitive. Dybala will take the 21. Matic will take 8. So when Matic joined, he took 21, but now he will give that to Dybala. And I think it's a good move for a couple different reasons. I also think that he should have taken 10. I know a lot of people are probably like, no. But I think the longer that you wait, that the number becomes heavier, and it might put an unnecessary burden on the next number 10, especially given the media in Rome. I would have really liked to see him take the 10, but I also respect that he took the 21. I think it also depends on what his goals are in Rome. Maybe if he signed like a 5-year contract. If he signed a major contract into his post-prime, then I think the 10 would have been appropriate. But if it will be a 3-year contract, won't be an extension, then maybe that's best. I do think Lorenzo Pellegrini should be given the option for the 10 if he wants it, although I think that his goals are to just lay his claim on the number 7 and become a legend of the 7 at this point. I am curious to know what Zaniolo's intentions are with his number going forward, and if he signs a 5-year, a long-term deal, what he's going to want to do. and how that would make players feel. Sharma says, what do you make of the 20 million release clause? I don't know much about it, if it's official or not yet. I haven't seen the contract. I don't think the contract is out yet, because usually, because Roma is still listed on the stock exchange, they, more often than not, I'm not sure if they have to, but more often than not, for shareholder purposes, have to put the deals on the website. So let's go into where Mourinho puts Zaniolo in. Is it a 3-4-1-2 with him in the hole? Is it a 4-2-3-1? Is it a 3-5-2 with more of a staggered two-man formation up top with Pellegrini as this inverted winger role where he slides to the inside? I think, well, first of all, I think it's going to be the 3-4-2-1, which is really the 3-5-2, and I'll explain why. So in this 3-4-2-1, you would think that the top is going to be a triangle, but in fact it's not. It's right-sided overload. So Pellegrini will look to get the ball, and when he does that, he will either drop to the sides in the left or come centrally. Typically, in a triangle, you don't want your wings both coming inside, so there has to be this push and pull. But I believe that Pellegrini will be the one who slides a little bit behind Dybala, who will slide a little bit behind Abraham. So this kind of rotating, it all works like that, right? It's not like they don't get too crowded, but it all is like a shape. Like you can put a triangle in so many different formations, but eventually you can't change the degrees of a triangle so that it will be playing off of one another rather than this rigid formation. So expect Pellegrini to still play in that hybrid role. That's my gut instinct. If it is the 4-2-3-1, which I'm not anticipating, Dybala will slide in the hole right behind Tammy Abraham. To the right would be Zaniolo, and to the left would be Pellegrini, in more of this inverted formation once again. So you switch things around a little bit, but really the essence is the same, with the overload on the right side and the left coming a little bit more centrally, a little bit more, not defensively, but not as aggressively on the offense. So that's where I see him working, getting Dybala closer to the goal, opposite of the way that Allegri had him played. Allegri was playing criminal football with Dybala. However, I will say that I liked when Dybala dropped back and he got the ball around the halfway line. He would dribble it or make a really smart touch to evade 2 or 3 defenders, get himself up the pitch, and he scored some really beautiful goals last season. Ones that just, regardless of the shirt, just make you love and fall in love with the footballer because of how beautiful the play was. Hamad asks, what do I think about Zaniolo? Is he staying or leaving? I am starting to feel that Zaniolo will stay and sign a long-term contract. That's what my gut tells me. There's been nothing substantial in the Roma news about a renewal or a departure. A week and a half ago, it seemed imminent that Zaniolo was going to join Juventus for 45 plus 5, if you read the news. But sometimes, as proven, the newspapers do not know all that much. And in the end, they are designed to make money. So they have to create tabloids in order to create revenues, in order to feed themselves, in order to stay above water. That's what newspapers do. And they work off of sensationalism. It's been that way since newspapers were invented. It's not an Italian or a Roman thing. It happened even here in the States when the printing press became extremely commonplace. So that's just how things go. A couple more things I wanted to mention. Let's go into some, keep shooting questions, by the way. They're really helpful. Some fun facts about Dybala that I was reading. A really good article on Forza Roma. This guy, this writer, they didn't put his name, which was a shame because it was so well written. It just says redazione, like a general article. Is that when he was at Palermo, sometimes he would split. He would go to his hometown, which was a few miles outside of Palermo, and he would just go to the beach and relax. And that's how he would find his calm. And he was a teenager at that point. He was a young guy, and it was cool because he lived in really close to San Vito del Capo. Well, I think it's San Vito, and it's a really big hill that like a mountain that San Vito lo Capo, that overlooks the ocean. So if you go to Palermo and you drive a little bit outside heading towards the west, you can see this. Even if you pull up on Google Maps, it's really beautiful. And another one thing that he does is Legos. And I don't have any of mine. I don't think I have any of mine up today, but I'm a huge nerd when it comes to Legos. I'm building a Vespa right now at my mom's that I got for my birthday. She got for me, which was really cool. You're gonna laugh, but I have like a small Harry Potter collection too. I grew up reading and watching those movies, so I'm really close to them. So like on a personal level, I really am interested in Dybala because I relate to him. Show you what I picked up. But I just got back from my honeymoon, and I picked this up in Sicily. It's a little horse donkey cart, which I thought was really neat. But in the next YouTube, I'll get more into that. This is just Dybala specific. Super pumped. So positioning, yeah, I see him closer to goal, whatever it is, overloaded with Pellegrini, shifting more towards a supporting role behind him and Abraham. He's taking the 21. It's a 3-year deal. Know nothing about the buyout clause yet. And what he brings to this team overall is that professionalism. Somebody who can really raise the quality of the teams, because last year, I think a big question during that slump, that January, February, maybe even mid-December slump, was really the integrity of this team and how far can they go. That's a good question. Sharma, I'll get to that. And I think that the jump in quality is the biggest factor here, is that he can raise that bar from like, yeah, a pretty good team into a great team. And you need those game changers, those players who can come on and do their thing. And when they're playing their best football, there's nothing nobody can do to stop them. So his injury record is a concern. If this was a 10 million euro deal, per season paying him, I would have been like, wow, that's a lot for an injury-prone player. But because his wages look to be about 4.5 per season, I think it's a suitable risk. It's one that makes it worth its while. Let's take the player out of the equation, the emotion, and let's talk purely about business. And when you think of that injury record, it is scary. He's 28, and he has knee problems. And I'll tell you that knee problems, they really don't go away. They just become things that you handle as a professional or as an athlete through your life. And you work continuously on building up your hamstrings or your quads or any type of physical therapy that will help you strengthen them. But ultimately, there is cracks in the foundation. So that is a concern. And I think that the hope is that he will maintain that fitness. However, he does join a cast. It's not just the Dybala show, right? You do have Zaniolo. You have Zalewski now, who can add into the offense. Abraham, Eldor, who hasn't really been given his time in the sun yet. So there's players out there. You might even get Belotti in there and how he could work with in a more rigid style that probably wouldn't mesh as well as he would with Dybala Abraham. So there's going to be different variations, which won't make this team Dybala dependent. However, what he could be, and what I'm hoping, is that he will be the cherry on top of a team that raises their quality. Horrific says, we shouldn't get overhyped. Top 4 next season, and Europa should be the aim. Hope Dybala stays fit. I think that's the goal. That the goal is 4th, and that anything that 3rd or 4th, and that anything that comes beyond that is a real treat, is a real plus. But I look at Juventus, and I have to think that they're going to lock down the Scudetto. It's a phenomenal core. Vlahovic, Pogba, and now Bremer in 3. That spine is spectacular. So I think it's theirs to lose. So anything above 3rd and 4th would be a real treat. So overhype, people say like fans shouldn't get overhyped. Let fans be fans. If they want to get excited, they want to get their hopes up or disappointed, whatever. That's up to fans. Sometimes you see on Twitter people will berate others' opinions and, you know, say you shouldn't feel like that, or don't do that. It's stupid the way you think like that. Like that's not necessary, because fans are meant to get excited. For Roma and any other football team, that is their outlet more times than not. Calcio is really my life, you know, so that's the first thing I do in the morning. So to tell fans like how to feel is just not a person's place. So just a random thought about when people are saying like don't get your hopes up. Let fans dream. Let them do what they want. If they want to get disappointed or if they want to get excited and then eventually success comes, like whatever. Let them be themselves. So yeah, that Bremer deal is going to be pretty massive. I think Inter is looking at some problems right now with failing to get Dybala and failing to get Bremer, because it probably would have been shrewd business to see Skriniar leave in place of Bremer. But I will tell you, on the flip side, that Bremer is not as tactically disciplined as someone like Skriniar, who is a master at center back. So Bremer makes up for maybe his tactical ability with his speed and his power. He's able to cover ground like very few center backs that I've ever seen. So he's a scary player to play against. But I think he's going to be so good, especially alongside Bonucci. I think that Bremer is going to be phenomenal. He's going to have another great season with Juve. And he doesn't even have to move locations. Stay where he is. Crazy. Other things, I don't like to see so many Serie A stars, our prospects leaving, with Svanberg, Aaron Hickey, Thorsby. So to see these guys leaving is not great, but on the flip side, Serie A will always reinvest. These teams will look for options. I think that Fiorentina will be an interesting team as well. But fire off any questions while I ramble, some extra questions. I'm having some problems with my car. I'm going to head to the mechanic very shortly. I went to play ball last night in Manhattan, and on the way back, my car started overheating by Times Square, which is not a place that you want to get stuck in, and the Lincoln Tunnel. And I'm very afraid that I may have fried like my head gasket, very expensive piece, in my 4 Series, which is I'm very into cars, and I love my car. I love driver cars, and I treat it really well. And I think that something cracked in the coolant, so I'm pretty pissed off, but more nervous that it's going to be like another $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 bill. I'm really hoping not, because I'm selling the car right now. So, geez. Guys, this is an exciting time. 1 more minute. I'm going to run a Dybala checkout. Anything that's going to be coming out from Roma officially. You know, watch those YouTube videos, those compilations, get hyped. I hope to see him soon with the upcoming friendlies. Watch this space. As they say, subscribe to the channel, please. If you know any Romanisti, Mourinhoisti, or Dybalisti, send this page to them too. I gotta let's get some subscribers up, because these questions help. They create so much dialogue. Hopefully Sharma jumps on an episode, stream with me real soon. So as I'm always saying, like I've been building up this little studio. It's my spare bedroom, getting things figured out on YouTube, like what makes sense. I got this little Blue Yeti microphone, which has been really helpful for audio quality. I think it's been a big jump for this, and one that'll help me grow. And the next step will be adding guests. And so a lot to look forward to. I'm really glad. Guys, I don't see any more comments. So I'm going to split. Hopefully this car does not combust, and I have at least something to trade in. So pray for me. Pray for my car. Thanks, guys. Forza Dybala.